in 2008, Chris's old chef was going to open a restaurant here. So there was an opportunity to come to San Francisco. So that's how we came.
That was Yuka Ioroi, General Manager and Beverage Director at Cassava Restaurant in the Outer Richmond. Welcome to Storied San Francisco. I'm your host, Jeff Hunt. All throughout this month, we're celebrating small businesses in the city, and this podcast is part of that. Yuka grew up in suburban Japan, but she came to LA when she was 15. In this podcast, she describes some of the culture shock she experienced there, as well as her first taste of a diverse society. After college, she worked an office job, but soon burned out on that. A friend lured her into bartending at a strip club. That gave way to her job at a country club, and then she was tapped to manage a restaurant that was just opening. There, she met her future husband, Kris, and soon the two were lured up to San Francisco. Be sure to check back Thursday, when Yuka will share the story of opening Cassava on Balboa Street. Unfortunately, Cassava had to close temporarily last week, but please follow them on social media to learn about their reopening. Here's Yuka.
Ioroi. It's an old samurai family last name.
Oh, wow.
My last name goes back to like year 700 or so maybe. In English, in the alphabets, it's Ioroi. It's so crazy, like no one can say it. And then if I'm in Japan and I say that, they like, is that, oh, is your last name Japanese? I was like, yes, more Japanese than yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was born in a prefecture called Shizuoka. Shizuoka is the prefecture, like our state that has Mount Fuji. There's two states that share Mount Fuji, and one is facing Pacific Ocean, and that's where I'm from.
Okay.
I was an everyday, normal person. I have one sister, a younger sister, and my parents have a construction company. Mm-hmm. And they started that, I think, in 80s. As people might know, like Japan's had like a really bad economy for like forever. You know, like it's like really stagnant from like early 90s. They're actually one of the only ones that's like still operating in the area kind of thing. And the way they run the company, especially how my mother does, you know, it has affected a lot of my operating style as far as the company.
Okay.
Very strict family in a way. And I just recently, I mean, back then too, but like realizing that it was a luxury to have 3 meals cooked by her, and then we pretty much sat at dinner table. Mm-hmm. She made everything from scratch, which I'm learning that was also like not common. In, you know, it's like everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, she baked her own bread. She made me eat prune extract every day.
Okay.
I used to like shiver. It was really bad.
Oh, man.
And it's just kind of like, not like a house nut or anything like that, but before like the word organic was like even a thing,
Right.
Organic way of farming, it was already around. So I remember seeing that on like the packages, that like most of the stuff that she had, it was kind of like that. And then there are a lot of like a farming people like around, so they'd be like, you know, they just leave like a bag of like nice tomatoes and stuff.
For your family?
Yeah, like, well, for my mom, you know,
for
because she
your
had a lot
mom.
of friends, and then she's like,
Wow.
oh, hey. She's like, oh, look at that, there's tomatoes today.
Wow.
Kind of things. And they still have that kind of relationship over there. My parents are in Japan still.
Yeah. Well, I think like you said, like before organic with it, but also before farm to table. That's what's happening.
Yeah, like farm to grandma walking to the street to her table. Yeah. Oh
That's
my god.
awesome.
Yeah, literally. More like a farm garden kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's a smaller town. And they're still operating the company. And my mom, during the process, I mean, she manages the company also, but she also got a caregiver license, so that she works at like a caregiving facility and stuff, just to kind of make use of her. But yeah, so that's my family. My sister currently lives in Rotterdam. I guess the second biggest city in Amsterdam.
Yeah. Big port city.
Yes. I think like it got burned down completely and then it got rebuilt, right? So it looks a lot newer than other parts.
Right.
She's an artist, and she met a wonderful person while she was in London. She spent more time in Europe. When she came here a little bit too, and then she went to Europe after. And he's an art dealer, and also like the art kind of books kind of a dealer.
Okay.
So he can also market her art, and then they have a gallery together in Rotterdam. So that's my family.
Awesome. Did as a kid, or I guess you said you moved to LA around high school years. Yeah. So before that, going back, like I guess as a young teenager, did you travel around Japan or other parts of the world at all before you came here?
Yeah, we went to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur one time. I remember that. The town that we lived, they had a relationship with like foreign, like a government exchange students, I think. So like the students that were sent by the country's government to like study in Japan, and then like we'll like host them and stuff. So we had like some Malaysian people like stay here and there, and then they invited us to Kuala Lumpur. So I think that was my first overseas travel.
Yeah.
That was like I was like 14 or 15, something like that.
And much different than where you're from.
Oh yeah, but like the most strike me was the heat was a lot drier.
Right.
That it was tolerable.
Right.
Japanese heat is like, I don't know, people like compare to Florida, but like really bad, I think.
Oh. I'm from Texas. I know
you are? Okay, so
humidity is.
I've been to. What's that? Like a suburb city from Houston, Beaumont.
Beaumont, yeah.
Yeah, I went to Houston and Beaumont, and then I was like, wow, like air don't move at all. Like
Nope.
it's kind of like that.
Yeah, you swim. I had a teacher talk about that, and she described it as when it's humid, you swim when you walk around.
Yeah. So it's kind of like interesting. Like, I had never left Japanese like humidity like by then, right? So when we went to Malaysia, and I was like, wow, it's so dry here. But then like the temperature is about same, like 30 Celsius or like 85 or like 90 or whatever, right?
Warm.
Yeah, warm, but like very tolerable. And then as soon as we came back to Narita Airport, I felt like somebody splashed water in my face. Right. I was like, wow, you can relate to that again.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that. Malaysia, that was like the first overseas, I guess, experience.
Did you travel around Japan as a young kid, or?
Yeah. Well, I mean, my father is from an area called Miki, which is a suburb of Kobe.
Okay.
And my mother is from an area called from Chigasaki. Chigasaki is it's like a hugely famous Bay Area west of Yokohama.
Okay.
So like we'll go to like grandparents' house, and then then like when we'll go to like Chigasaki, then we'll go to Tokyo kind of things. But we haven't really traveled like by then anywhere. I remember like my dad had purchased a trip to Okinawa, like when we're in like, I was like in elementary school, junior high or something, maybe 12 or 13 or something like that. And I remember them yelling on the phone. I think they like overbooked or whatever happened, and then we couldn't go.
Oh man.
Yeah, I remember that.
Geez.
Well, I think they were very like disappointed. I remember like them really, and then they're like back then like probably like in like a late 30s or something, right? I mean like
Your
I can
parents,
like, yeah. So I was like, oh, I guess we're not going to Okinawa. Like it was fine, but then I think I don't know like what kind of refund situation or something like that. I actually never asked them about it. Maybe I'll ask next time.
Yeah.
If they remember still.
Not to jump too far ahead,
That's
but you did mention that your sister also doesn't live in Japan anymore. Do your parents still live there?
Yeah, they're there. Yeah.
So do you know how that was for them, or how it is for them to have both of their kids, not living in the country anymore, not nearby anymore?
They're not really, those like traditional Asian families that, oh, you have to take care of us when we're older. And I think one of the reasons why my mom started became like interested in the caregiving industry is that she wanted to be independent later.
Right.
She does not see any ability in either of us to raise any children or take care of nobody. So
Okay.
I don't think they are. I'm 41 years old, and I still feel very taken care of by my parents, which is really bad. But I mean, like I don't like get money from them and stuff like that right now, but like I feel like if I need some, like I can always kind of go home kind of thing if I needed to.
Okay.
Right now, the Japanese government doesn't allow that. My husband won't be able to go in, but
Right.
but yeah, so they're fine. And I think every now, like like now and then, like my dad like goes to high school reunion or something, and they'll be talking about like grandkids and stuff like that. He's like, "Whoa, I just want any kind of grandkids. It didn't like what color. I don't care what color. Red, purple, black, gold, whatever. I guess I'm never gonna see any of them." I was like, "That's right. You're never gonna see any kids." But yeah.
Oh, Dad.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about your move to LA. What brought that on?
So I came in 11th grade. It would have been, or end of 10th grade.
What year would that have been?
94.
Okay.
95.
Okay.
95. Yeah.
LA 95.
Yeah.
What did you think? Your first time to be there, right?
Yeah. Can they be really gross?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it like so like generally in Japan like you don't really chew gums in classes or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then I had never seen like desks and chairs put together before.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay, so that's how they do it,
Mm-hmm.
And then and I was gonna they put me on desk and then I was gonna move it, and then you see where we're going?
Yeah.
Oh.
Please.
And then it was like hella bumpy. I was like, what's going on? And then I saw like a gum all the way. I was like, no, why?
Yeah. So you were in an American high school is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, I was like,
yeah.
Oh, and then that school had a metal detector and barbed wire.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, it's not like Beverly Hills 91210,
Right.
But it was like fine. And then I was like, why would they do that? Like, why not? Like, and then I realized the gums here didn't come with individual wrappers. Like the Japanese gums always come with individual wrappers, so you put it and then you put it on and throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm gonna get really gross. And then I went to the bathroom, and then I couldn't believe how dirty the bathroom was. And I went in the stall and I closed it, and then the door had a maxi pad used one put on there.
On the door. Okay.
Like I sat and I was like, ah,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
There's no reason to do that, right? And I looked at the trash can, it's like a hello full. I was like,
Yeah.
and then
okay.
I saw there's a soda and candy vending machine there. I was like, you can't feed other kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a impression.
Bunch of culture shock, it sounds like.
Yeah, there's a lot of things didn't make sense. And then I learned how to sneak into faculty restroom.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I got caught one time, and then I got sent to detention.
Oh my goodness.
And then I had to clean school on Saturday or something. I was like, oh cool, okay, this is what it is. But I was like, well, I told him I would have used the faculty restroom if you cleaned the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah. And then I never seen security guard in schools in Japan before, right?
Yeah.
And there's a security guard walking around. And then one security guard I was friends with, a younger guy. And then the older lady that was in charge, she didn't like that. So I almost got sent to detention for that. And it was just kind of crazy. But
Yeah. Where did you live when you went to high school in LA?
Glendale.
Okay. Did you live with a family or?
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Like a host family. Or
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other kinds of things besides school were you doing in this exciting new place as a teenager? Right?
I was in a choir, so it's kind of fun, interesting. My god family is a Thai family, so I was with them a lot. And then Glendale is very, very racially diverse city. So it was kind of cool to see a lot of different race, culture. There's the biggest Asian population in city of Glendale is Korean.
Okay.
So I got mistaken as a Korean person a lot, which is fine, I probably have a Korean blood because my family goes back so long. And Filipinos. And then there's a huge Armenian population. So I just kind of like, wow, cool. Like I don't go anymore, but like I meet all kinds of people and eat different kind of food.
Right.
So that was good.
I think depending where you are in the U.S., that's a fairly unique, right, to this country.
Yeah, and then there was a American white family and Canadian white family that I also spent time with. And I remember, I think like I first experienced kind of like a racism or prejudice there first, not towards me. And then I remember, wow, like Canadian family, American family is like very different. Like the American family like really didn't like the Armenian population. They were like, you know, oh, they're taking over a city, they smell bad and kind of things. The Canadian family is like, oh yeah, you know, this is whatever. And they were fine about all these things. So I was like, oh, okay, like different people have a different opinions.
Yeah.
Like because I came from such a mono race country,
right,
not so much now, but like especially back then, like in like a suburb, right? I mean, I did come across with like foreign nationals because they were out of the house, but like I never felt any like, I don't know. So I think I understand then that I was a minority because I'm from a majority country, right?
Right.
So that was kind of like interesting, and I was like, wow, is it okay to say openly like that? Oh, you can't. Like, oh, you can say that. It's like, wow, like this, like these people are like criminals and these people smell bad, and they can say that. It's like, and then they have like high school kids at home, and it's okay to say that. It's like, well, it's kind of like confusing.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that it's like wrong then, you know, but.
You're a kid, and it's new to you. Did you experience any firsthand racism?
Oh, when I was in high school?
Yeah.
No, it's like.
Oh, good.
They're too busy with it. It's like. No, like I didn't get picked on as a Japanese person. Okay. No, there's like all kinds of Asians too, right? Yeah. And then I think every Friday there was a Mexican gang and Armenian gang fight at the school. That was like a thing.
All right.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, you know.
Yeah.
So like I just viewed it as a race as a like a different group, and it's like, oh, okay, they just kind of hang out because they have more similar things to talk about, kind of things. And then there were a lot of ESL students. I was in an ESL class, so.
I was gonna ask, did you speak any English before you came over?
Little bit. Yeah. It took me about a year to become fluent.
Okay.
But Japanese English education is very bad. Like you go for 6 years, like right, like junior high, like 7th through 12th grade. Like a lot of people like do it for 6 years and you don't come out fluent. Then it's not the kids' fault, but I think it's education system.
Right.
And then I saw like how they teach ESL, and then I was like, oh, why don't they do this in Japan? And it's like people come out like, you know, like functional in like a year or two, right? But yeah.
So you were taking some ESL classes here?
Yeah. I was put in the ESL class first, like when they all do that for immigrant kids, right?
And then, so anything else about Los Angeles before you moved up here? I want to know why you moved up here.
Okay.
For sure.
So after I finished college.
Oh, where did you go to college?
Pasadena City College first, and then transferred to American Intercontinental University. They're like a better version of a DeVry. It's like a not frauding, but it's kind of like a for-profit. But I think I got like a really good education there, so that, you know, I don't mind it.
Okay.
And then the first job I had was a car insurance company, and it was fine, but I really didn't like selling product that people didn't want to buy.
Yeah.
And then you charge like crazy fees that's only allowed for California and New York in the country. I don't know if it's still like that, but that's like early 2000 or something.
Yeah. Did you go to school for business or like?
Yeah.
What did you...
Yeah. I have a business degree.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was like kind of just like contemplating, oh, I don't know, this is like good. Like I felt like consciously like not comfortable selling things like and charging like that.
Yeah.
And then like my assistant, like I had an office job, like I kind of sort of managed like operation and stuff for that company, and it's still like you have to sell like products, but. And then my assistant girl left me, and then she said she got a job as a cocktail waitress for a strip club, and she's like she make more money.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So like I quit, and then I got a job as a bartender at a strip club.
Okay. Still in LA or that
still
area?
Still in LA.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's how I came to the food.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Insurance food. So that was So it was a full nude place. So like I learned how to work the bar, but without alcohol. I think that's kind of good. And then, I mean, the club was really nice. But like, and then you do have girls that are really have a plan to make money for the kids or for college, but there are girls that like deteriorate because like they do drugs and then like they just get caught up in the style, and it was just kind of hard to see that happening right in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
So they didn't really last there. And if somebody came from that has a job as a bartender at a country club, said there was an opening, so I went from a strip club to a country club.
Okay.
And then
two very different kinds of clubs, but maybe have more in common than most people think.
Yeah. I will tell you that. Yes.
Yeah. So, but the country club's still down in Southern California.
Yeah, it's all in LA.
Okay.
And then actually the country club is actually both the strip club and then country club are both in Glendale too.
Got it. Okay.
I was living in Pasadena then because like I moved to Pasadena for college, but it's next city, right?
Right.
Then while I was at a country club, it wasn't really working out, but that's where I learned how to manage the restaurant portion of the business and like banquet sales type of thing. And then I found an opening for a restaurant in Los Feliz, which is east of Hollywood.
Okay.
Like between main Hollywood and Silver Lake, there's a mini area called Los Feliz. That was 2006, and that's where so they were gonna open a new restaurant there. And then I got hired as a restaurant manager.
Oh, wow.
So strip club, the country club, the restaurant manager.
Boom.
Yeah.
Moving up that ladder.
I know, right? So that's where I met my husband.
Okay.
Yeah, he was one of the opening chef, and I was the opening restaurant manager. That's where we met. And in 2008, Kris's old chef was going to open a restaurant here. So there was an opportunity to come to San Francisco. So that's how we came.
That was Yuka Ioroi. Check back Thursday for part 2. Music for Storied San Francisco is by Otis McDonald. Photography is by Michelle Kilfeather. The show is hosted and produced by me. Michelle and I have produced more than 120 episodes over the last 3 years, and you can find them all over at our website, storiedsf.com. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, as well as just about everywhere you can listen to podcasts. Please subscribe to stay up to date on all the content we publish. And if you have any feedback for us, or you just want to say hi, our email is storiedsf@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Stay strong, stay safe, and stay healthy.